What's up, guys? Neil Orfield here, taking a look at the Stokastic NFL DFS lineup generator for Thursday Night Football between the Steelers and the Titans. In this video, I'm only going to be looking at lineups for FanDuel for tonight's slate, not DraftKings in this one. That's another video already posted on this channel. Here we'll look at the FanDuel lineups. If you haven't already hit the like button, please like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so, and hit that notification button so you can get alerts when our shows go live. And of course, if you haven't signed up for the lineup generator, the link is in the description of this video. It's just $14.95 per week. I think it's a fantastic deal. You're only getting long-term profitable lineups in the lineup generator, and you're getting them for both FanDuel and DraftKings. The main slates, every primetime showdown slate, all of that is included for just $14.95 per week. I think it's the best value in the entire industry. So check it out if you haven't already done so. The link, again, is in the description of this video. Here, though, I'm just going to be looking at FanDuel single game lineups for this Titans and Steelers game. And in this video, I think I'm going to do something different. I'm going to do all lineups. So I'm going to do a mix of chalky, balanced, and contrarian lineups by choosing all lineups. I'm still going to be looking for specifically lineups for large field GPPs that are not going to be duplicated a ton. It's hard to avoid dupes entirely on FanDuel. You're only choosing from 5 players, and there's no multiplier in that MVP spot. But I'm still going to try to limit my duplication because I don't want to have a lineup that, if it's lucky enough to win, is still duped 1,000 times and I'm still not winning that much money. If I'm lucky enough to win, I want to win all the monies. So I am going to look for some less duplicated lineups. I'm also not going to choose a game script. You can if you want to. You can choose both teams going over, both teams going under their total, or a mix, whatever you want to do. I'm just using standard projections here. All right, first lineup we see here, leaving $1,000 on the table. So right away, I don't love that we're only leaving 1,000 on the table. 155% total ownership in this one, so we can use that as our starting point, kind of a benchmark there while we're looking at other lineups. This is interesting because it does have Tyjae Spears in there in the MVP spot at just 2% ownership. Everybody else super chalky and only leaving 1,000 on the table. It's hard. Honestly, this is a hard one for me to gauge whether it will be super high owned because it is leaving 1,000 on the table and it does have a contrarian captain, or MVP, I should say. Ultimately, I think this one is going to be duped, 15, 20 times. I don't know that it's my favorite lineup. Again, I'm nitpicking. Every single lineup you get here is long-term profitable, but I'm looking for lineups that have more win equity and more potential money on a given slate versus lineups that have higher min cash equity, that kind of thing. So I think this one probably flies. I'm also contemplating whether I want to use. So I've got Will Levis in here. Typically, if I have a quarterback, even on FanDuel, if I have a quarterback in there, I want to have at least one pass catcher on this slate. And Tyjae Spears, I would say, qualifies as a pass catcher, a little bit more involved than Derrick Henry in the passing game. So I think this is a viable lineup. I think that you could play this one. Yeah, I'd say I would. I would play this one. So we'll say 1 for 1. All right, second lineup. We're only leaving 500 on the table. I don't think I would use this one. It does have some uniqueness factors, like it has the Titans defense against a Steelers onslaught. Like, people might not love doing that. So it does have that factor in its favor as far as avoiding duplication. But ultimately, 132% total ownership. So less total ownership than the last one, but no super low owned players themselves. Our lowest owned is a 9% owned Deontay Johnson, and only leaving 500 on the table. I don't think I would play this one. Wow. Okay, so this one we are leaving 8,000 on the table. We have Kenny Pickett in the MVP spot, like that right away. Hopefully, hoping to get a rushing touchdown here. We've got him paired with Najee Harris, which, with Najee Harris, if I have Pickett in the MVP spot, I prefer to have multiple pass catchers, or at least like one really primary pass catcher. Here we don't have any what I would call primary pass catchers. Najee Harris, not super involved in the passing game. Man, leaving 8,000 on the table. I do think this is going to be unique. Like, not many people are leaving 8,000 on the table. Does it have high enough odds to win? So any one of these players. So keep this in mind. When you're leaving 8,000 on the table, that means that any player in this lineup could be upgraded to every single player up to $8,000 more expensive than them. So Tyjae Spears is the best example. You could play basically any player on the slate. I don't remember the exact pricing, but anybody up to 15,500. I think that might include anybody. So he literally needs to outscore Derrick Henry here. You need that in this lineup. Tyjae Spears outscoring Derrick Henry, outscoring Will Levis. So keep that in mind when you're leaving that much salary on the table. I do think it's feasible. I don't like this. Probably isn't one that I would get to naturally, but I think it's a viable lineup that not many people are going to play. It's going to be super contrarian. Only 94% total ownership in this one. Yeah, I think I would play this lineup. I would not expect it to win very often. This is one that it makes it in here because it's going to win, once out of every 3 seasons. But when it wins, you're going to be like solo or maybe dupe once. You're going to win all of the money. So I do think this is a viable lineup. I would call this another one that I would play. All right. Now, this one, Will Levis in the MVP spot. His only pass catcher here is Derrick Henry, who not very involved in the passing game. So don't love that correlation aspect right away. We are leaving 2,000 on the table, which is, kind of, around where I like to start my salary. So that's good. Leaving 2,000 on the table. Low owned Connor Hayward here. So it has some contrarian aspects to it, probably avoiding some dupes here. I don't know if I love the correlation of Will Levis with just Derrick Henry, but he is kind of a wild card. We really don't know what to expect from Will Levis. At least I don't. I'm trying to gauge his rushing upside and looking at his college stats. Like he had one season where he had nearly 400 rushing yards, and the next season negative 100. So, and that's obviously college stats. Sacks are included as negative rushing yards, so that's how that happened. But first game, he had first game in the NFL, 7 rushing attempts for 11 yards. If you think that Will Levis does have, 40, 50 rushing yard upside, maybe a touchdown potentially, you could play Will Levis with just Derrick Henry here. So, yeah, I think this one could fly. It's leaving 2,000 on the table. Yeah, I think this is a third lineup that I would play here. All right, I'm just going to point this one out because I actually like this one even better. So this one we have Will Levis in the MVP spot. Now we've got some primary pass catchers in Chigga Okonkwo and Kyle Phillips. We're leaving 2,000 on the table. We have George Pickens as the bring back. This one looks like a lineup that has better odds of winning. It's going to be duplicated more. So this is, kind of the other, not the other end of the spectrum, but like more on the end of the spectrum. Like it's going to win more frequently and probably win less when it wins. So these are kind of the factors you're considering in choosing lineups. But I actually like this one better just because it does have clearly better odds of winning than the last one. All right, now I'm just going to go through and see what our final exposures look like after I've saved all the lineups it lets me. All right, let me save 40 lineups. Looks like we got to 55% Kenny Pickett and 55% Will Levis. You're often going to see that on FanDuel because there is no multiplier. You're just looking for the highest raw scores, and it's not full PPR on FanDuel. The quarterbacks just are going to project better. You're going to get a ton of quarterbacks on FanDuel. So it makes sense for those two to be our highest exposed players. 53% Steelers defense. Yeah, we don't really know what to expect from Will Levis. Little bit of a wild card, so kind of fun to pair Will Levis and the Steelers defense. A little bit contrarian, but certainly could throw 2 interceptions, one of them being a pick six, and 3 or 4 touchdowns as well. So I like the pairing there. Najee Harris 42%, 40% of each of Derrick Henry and DeAndre Hopkins here. 35% Pickens and Jalen Warren. 30% Tyjae Spears, Chigga Okonkwo. Pretty good mix of players in our lineups here. But good to see quarterbacks getting in there a lot. And then we have just a mix throughout. Hit the like button if you haven't already done so. What else? Just hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. The link is in the description of this video for Lineup Generator if you want to check it out for yourself. I always recommend running it as close to slate lock as possible. So, early look just gives you an idea of what's going to happen, but things change throughout the day. So get it for yourself. Link in the description of the video, $14.95 per week. Thanks for watching. Good luck tonight.